Hello and welcome back to the Witness History podcast from the BBC World Service. I'm Anoushka Mutanda-Dougherty, and today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about the Dutch inventor Fred van der Weij. And some people say he changed the way we cook, other people say he changed the world, and that's because he invented the air fryer. Now sadly, Fred passed away in 2022, but his daughter Suus van der Weij had a front row seat to this invention. Suus, when did your dad start thinking about designing something like this?
Well, it all started after he had a conversation with my neighbor about the safety of the frying pans, the huge fryers, and they were talking about child safety in particular. You don't leave your children near the frying pan, and this was about, I believe I was starting my puberty, so maybe it's like 12, 13 years old. I'm now 33. So so about 20 years ago.
And he's worried about the safety of, do you mean those like huge metal like frying pans that they dip into oil and they fry chips in?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, those aren't particularly safe because it splatters everywhere.
Right. And you can't really touch it when when you're near it. So it's not really safe. And that's how it all started with my dad.
So how does it go from a conversation with a neighbor about saying, okay, deep fat fryers are really unsafe, to I'm now going to create this brand new invention?
That's just how my father's brain worked. He would start You would have one conversation with him, and maybe a few days or a few weeks later he would be like, remember when we talked about and then he'll just come up with look what I invented. He started looking into maybe we can use hot air to do this. It started with this big wooden box. It's about the size of a human's rump, like.
That was the first prototype of the air fryer, a massive
Yeah,
wood.
wood. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
you wouldn't guess it, but
that's
yeah,
an
wood.
interesting choice of material. What was it like? Did it work?
It did. It did. It was with wood and chicken wire, and all other metals. He made this huge basket also out of wood. Uh, and yeah, it worked. It did bring us terrible fries though. Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell me about the first meal on the prototype of the first air fryer.
The first fries we got out of it were um yeah, you gotta imagine the way fries look when they're still frozen, but they were kind of, a bit floppy because they were defrosting. So they were sweaty, but they were still frozen in the middle, and the tips were burnt. It took about half a year to make somewhat edible fries, but still not delicious or something. So you'd have to imagine going through puberty and having to eat a lot of disgusting fries before
So,
it
what
gets.
was it? Every dinner, he was like, "We're having fries again."
Well, he tried to. Yeah, yeah, but my mom was like, "No, can we eat something else now?"
Was it like a passion project for him or like an obsession?
At first, it was a passion project. He still did work for other companies who hired him to make products. He had a few people working for him who also did the same. But no, at some point it did become an obsession, and that's when he he only worked on the air fryer, and that's when he had to fire his employees, and he lost his office, and then we almost went bankrupt, had the for sale sign in the yard. Uh, so the whole process took about 5 years. And at the end of those 5 years, we did have, well, let's say an interesting puberty. I was about 17 then, 17 or 18, I believe. and then uh, didn't finish my well, I believe it's high school
Mm.
level exam. There was a lot of fights in the house about just give up already. But no, he kept going. It was an obsession.
Did you believe that it was gonna happen for him, or were you kind of like, you need to stop now?
I mean, you always keep hoping it'll happen. But you got to remember, when you're like 16, 17, and your father's being bullheaded, you're well, we had a lot of fights. And there were a lot of moments I said, just stop it already. It's not going to happen. Uh, but then on the other hand, I did have a lot of conversations with him, um, where I did say, because then he would start explaining again about what he was doing, and I would start believing in him again. So it was really, it was a real roller coaster about, yeah,
He was trying something that had been sort of attempted before. I think there was as early as the 40s, people were having a go at this.
yeah,
Never successfully, though. Never
no,
successfully.
no.
Until the invention of rapid air technology. How did that kind of change the game?
Well, the rapid air technology, he figured that one out quite fast. And what he did over the next like 4 years was just tweaking it. Um, I don't know how he figured it out. And there were, I believe, at that time, two other inventions. There was one from Germany and one from another company. Um, but they did not have the same technology. So I think with both you still needed to add some oil on top of everything
Mm.
to make it work. And my father, at some point, he got it right, where everything started tasting like a fry, and everything started getting the right color with the rapid air technology. So
Okay, so tell
yeah,
me about that because you've had years now of having to have faith in somebody who has this obsession,
yeah,
and it's not made your life easy. It hasn't made home life easy. So surely when you have that first meal that it actually looks and tastes like what it's supposed to, that must have really meant something to you.
yeah, it made me so proud. I remember walking to my dad in the garage, and he was already making the next thing. But I just got, in Dutch we have this thing called the frikandel. And I got the frikandel, and it was the right color. It was brown. It wasn't like pale
Is that like a,
or
is it
anything.
like a sausage?
Yeah, it's a sort of sausage, yeah. Uh yeah. Yeah, I can't really I don't really know what's in it
Mm.
because I don't want to know what's in it. And I know I came up to him in the garage. I tapped him on the back like, "Yeah, Dad, you did it."
And what was his reaction like to getting it right?
He was really happy. Yeah. But also already tweaking for the next one, because
He
yeah,
just
this
wanted
one
it
worked, but yeah,
perfect.
it needs to be better. But it wasn't called the air fryer back then. It was we called it the fried air.
What does that translate to?
So that's the fry air.
The fryer. Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of a remix.
Yeah, so in Dutch you can call fries, you can call them patat, or you could call them friet. So he went for the friet air.
He's got something that he's proud of that he's finished. How do you then get other people to buy into it? What did he do?
All I know is he had a few meetings and a few misses, and then finally he had the meeting with, of course, Philips. I didn't really put a lot of faith in that meeting because I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you gotta. remember at this point we're 4.5, 5 years in ish. No, we're about 5 years in if the with the Philips meeting, and the for sale sign is in the yard, and we're just beaten down at this point. And he says, "Yeah, but I've got an important meeting, and this is gonna be the one." We're like back there with our little flags, like, okay, let's go. So I remember I was in school, uh, constantly looking at my phone. Maybe he sent a text or something about the meeting or something. Nothing happened, and then then he came home. He told us that they bought it. They accepted it. Yeah, and not even just that. They also deposited um some money so we could pay all of our bills. And I remember that moment quite well still. Yeah. That summer we went on a vacation for the first time in 5 years to see our family in Italy. So that was it was a grand moment. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was worth it.
It was. Yeah. And I'm very proud he did it. He didn't stop. He just kept going. And I'm so proud of what he made.
He's got Philips, which is one of the largest electronic companies I think in the world,
Yeah.
have bought into not just his idea but into him.
Yeah.
When does it start to kind of hit the shelves and go a bit nuts?
I remember standing in the stores looking at the air fryers and seeing people looking at it like, what's this? What do we do with this? And I always wanted to just walk up to those people and say, look, my dad invented this. I can tell you everything about it. But no, I never did.
After all of this, your dad did pass in 2022, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So he did live to see the air fryer craze because it went mad. I mean, like one day everybody just had one and everyone was like,
Yeah.
there were recipes and it's like, well, if you don't have an air fryer, you can't do it. And it becomes
Yeah.
common practice to now just whack everything in the air fryer. I
Y-
mean, people are
Yeah.
making s'mores in their air fryer. They're making desserts. It's not just chips and sausages. The
No,
the
I don't know if
possibilities
you
are limitless.
I don't know if you know the I Love Philips air fryer Facebook page, but
No.
I can see the most insane recipes coming out of the air fryer where I'm like, never even thought of it, you know? What you say? I like s'mores, and in Dutch we have this thing called olieballen. Oliebollen, sorry. But those things are fried. They're balls, and they are fried in oil. So I'm still not getting how people are doing that in the air fryer. But yeah, I don't know. It's insane. And yeah, he got to see all that. So it's not like he passed away and never knew how big of a product it was. No, that's this is great to see. But yeah, no, and still, nobody quite believes me when I say that my dad invented this. They always think it was an American. I don't know why. They were like, no, no, this must be an American invention. I'm like, no, no, just here in the Netherlands, in Almere. Yeah,
What's it like now? Obviously, since he's passed, but the invention is so popular
yeah.
and you're not, a child anymore. You're reflecting as an adult in the world and what it is to commit to something, ruthlessly
Hmm.
commit to it.
Yeah,
Blinkers on, head down, I'm going to do this.
yeah.
How do you look back on the time now?
Yeah, like I said, I'm really proud of him right now. Uh with some of the money he got, he also invested in my band because well, he knew what it felt like to believe in something.
Mm.
And I had the same feeling about my band at that moment. And he was like, okay, let me help you. And that showed me that you can always go for your passion if you're just, like you said, head down, just keep going. Don't listen to anybody who can tell you you're not going to do it. In the end, it will definitely happen if you put in the work.
If you could
So
go
yeah.
back to the version of your dad that served you soggy chips with burnt tips and tell him something, and you could give him
Yeah,
a piece of advice, what would you go and say?
I would say keep going. Yeah, that's all I would have to say to him.
Mm.
Give him a kiss, give him a hug, say keep going. Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I'm making me a bit emotional there. I wasn't expecting that. I think people won't be expecting this from, the story of the air fryer, but it's really more a story of sort of self-belief.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And people don't really think about inventions, of course. Uh, uh, like there has to be a story behind it. No, it's just this is the invention and it's cool.
Yeah.
But seeing it from this side, yeah, it changed my life, of course. And it taught me that just to go for your passions and don't let anybody tell you not to.
Even if there's smoke billowing everywhere,
Exactly.
just crack on.
Yeah.
Suze, thank you so much for telling me this story today.
Yeah, no
I want to
problem.
let you know that I've got a new salmon recipe that I'm going to try this
Oh.
evening. I'm going to have to join that group chat about the air fryers because I definitely want to get a slice of that action.
Yeah, yeah. I can recommend.
That's it for this episode of the Witness History podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the BBC World Service YouTube channel for more videos like these. Or if you're really into history, why not check out our back catalogue of over 1,000 episodes? Just search Witness History wherever you get your podcasts.